Most people don't realize they're living on a financial cliff until a perfectly ordinary expense arrives and suddenly becomes an emergency. And the strange part is that the number involved is often small enough to feel almost embarrassing, like a car repair, a medical copay, a broken phone, or a short gap between paychecks that lands at roughly $1,000. The $1,000 emergency fund became popular because it sounds concrete and doable, but it also reveals something deeper about how modern households are forced to operate because it quietly reframes instability as normal and then asks you to manage it with a small buffer rather than asking why the system produces so many small shocks in the first place. At the psychological level, a $1,000 target works because it lowers the activation energy. And when money feels tight, motivation is rarely about ambition and more about reducing dread, since a small cash cushion buys emotional oxygen. It reduces the brain's sense of threat, it lowers the frequency of, should I put this on a card? And it gives you a tiny zone where decisions can be made without panic. But the same psychology can also trap you, because once you hit the number, your mind files the problem under handled, even if the underlying risk exposure hasn't really changed. In behavioral economics terms, it is a salience anchor, a single visible milestone that can crowd out more meaningful measures like how many months of essential expenses you can cover, how sensitive your budget is to income disruption, or how quickly a normal expense turns into high-interest debt. The math is where the myth becomes clearer. Because $1,000 is not a meaningful unit of risk, it is a meaningful unit of pain. If your fixed essentials are, say, $2,500 per month, then $1,000 is about 12 days of runway. And if you lose income for even 1 month, the gap isn't psychological, it is arithmetic. Now add the real-world frequency of medium shocks, the ones that aren't catastrophic but aren't optional, such as an $800 dental bill, a $600 vet visit, a $1,200 tire replacement, and a $900 flight for a family obligation. And you see the pattern. These events are lumpy, they cluster, and they often arrive during the same season that other costs rise. The question is not whether you can handle one $1,000 problem once, but whether you can handle 3 problems across 90 days without converting them into compounding interest. That conversion is the hidden mechanic, if the only buffer you have is a credit card, then an unexpected $1,000 expense is not just $1,000, because it becomes a loan priced at whatever your interest rate is, and it competes with your future cash flow. At 20% APR, $1,000 carried for a year is roughly $200 in interest if it were simple. But real credit card debt is rarely held in a clean 1-year block, because payments fluctuate, balances roll, and new shocks arrive before the last one is cleared. So the number that matters isn't the interest rate in isolation, it's the cycle of rollover. This is why the same household can feel like it is doing fine, while slowly becoming more fragile, because the system converts volatility into debt, and then converts debt into reduced future options. Zooming out, the $1,000 emergency fund is really a coping strategy for an economy where many costs are privatized, many jobs have variable hours or variable schedules, and many necessities are priced in ways that punish timing. Rent is due on a date, not when your paycheck feels generous. Insurance deductibles reset on a calendar, not when your savings is ready, and a car doesn't break down gradually in neat monthly installments. It fails suddenly and demands a lump sum. If your household has no slack, then timing becomes destiny. And the real trap is not that people are careless, it's that they are optimizing for survival in a system that rewards those who can hold liquidity. So what should the number represent instead if not $1,000? A more honest measure is runway, and runway is personal, because it depends on your essential burn rate, want your income stability, and your exposure to lumpy expenses. If you track your true essentials, not your aspirational budget, and you calculate 1 month of minimum costs, you may find that the psychologically comforting number is far below the mathematically stabilizing number. From there, the identity shift is subtle but powerful, because you stop treating emergencies as rare anomalies and start treating volatility as a predictable feature that deserves a dedicated buffer. And once you see it that way, saving stops being a moral test and becomes a mechanical solution, like building a shock absorber into a machine that you know will hit potholes. The calm conclusion is that a $1,000 emergency fund isn't useless. It's simply the first rung on a ladder that many people mistakenly treat as the top. And the real goal is not to hit a culturally popular milestone, but to buy time. Because time is what turns financial decisions from reactive to deliberate. If you want a practical next step, look at your last 12 months of unexpected expenses. Estimate how often they appear and how large they tend to be, and then design a buffer that matches your reality rather than a slogan. And if you want more videos like this on financial psychology, economic cycles, and the math behind stability, subscribe to Barrett Invests.